Hello and welcome to Israeli Yellow Nation, the show that brings you the stories behind Maccabi Electra Tel Aviv, the EuroLeague champion. Today we'll start with Nikola Vujicic. He might be considered as the best center in Maccabi's history. Well, the most diverse one, that's for sure. Niko grew up in the shadow of the civil war in Croatia. He retired from playing active basketball 2 years ago, then was appointed as Maccabi's professional manager. We met with Niko in order to hear about the milestones of his career from a 6'11" perspective.
Bringing me the emotions this game because it's really, really special. When you have these kind of guys. When he stood up and said, "Listen, nobody underestimated us. We are Maccabi."
Meet Nikola Vujicic, Maccabi's greatest center of all time and one of the greatest in Europe. Today, Vujicic is the team manager and a true symbol of the Team of Israel, which is amazing because he was born and raised as a Croatian patriot.
Actually, the city where I live, there it wasn't any kind of gym to play basketball. It was only one outside court. First time I saw basketball gym was when I was age of 14 and 1 month. My family, father went to the war, uncle, other uncle, friends. We were also lots of times in shelters. But as a kid, you can, what do you know about? You just want to play and you don't have problems with politics and the people, For us, for kids, everybody is same. It's just people, humans.
The Yugoslavia of the early 1990s was a terrifying volcano. The Civil War was at its peak, and for a tall and athletic Croatian, basketball was a lifesaver.
Age of 15, I was already, back to the wall. Or I succeed, or more my family doesn't have anything to eat. So I decided very early that I must become pro, and the basketball is the only way that me and all my family will be able to live life.
When you talk about Croatian basketball in the pre-war years, you're talking about Jugoplastika Split, European champions 3 times in a row, with a team that included the greats Toni Kukoc and Dino Radja, who were among the first Europeans to reach the NBA.
Almost every summer was Radja on the practices, Kukoc was on practices, Tabak was on practices. They were coming from NBA, showing the new stuff, new technique. Tabak also played against my favorite NBA player, Hakeem Olajuwon, so he was coming in the summer, showing me the fakes, the way how he's practicing. So, I grew up in a museum of basketball. In 2001, I had the offer from Maccabi, and I had the offer from Siena. I get offers, I talked to my agent, and then I came home to present what is my decision to family of my wife and my family. So I told them, listen, I have offer from Siena and Maccabi. So my mother-in-law said, wow, pasta, pizza, excellent, great. Yeah, I said, great, but I'm going to Israel. What? Are you taking my daughter to war? You're crazy? I'm going. I hope she come with me.
In the first year of his contract with Maccabi, Vujicic was loaned to a French team, Villeurbanne, which he led to their first championship victory in 21 years. At the end of the season, he said thanks and returned to Tel Aviv.
Let's go back to my mother-in-law. This is the best example. Because every day she was giving me news what's going in Israel. So after a few months, I said, okay, you know what? I send her airplane tickets, 2 weeks here, tourist guide, she visit everything. Since then, she never tell me anything.
Nikola played with Maccabi for 6 years. He won 5 Israeli championships and 2 EuroLeague championships. Though that great Maccabi team included many stars, many basketball experts said that he was the greatest.
I heard this sentence long time ago from Toni Kukoc. He said, listen, you score points, it make happy you. When you pass good pass, make 2 guys happy.
2004 was the best year of all. Much has already been said about that season and about the return from the grave against Zalgiris in the last quarterfinal game. But it's always fascinating to hear about it from someone who was there.
Last minute, we were 40 seconds, we were 7 points down. So what I was thinking on the court is like, where I'm going to disappear now for another 2 months. What I'm going to do? We just lose the, in that minute, I'm telling you, there were so bad thoughts. And then that switch, wow.
שער, עולה, וזורק, ונכנס! לא יאמן! זה נכנס!
I saw that game again only after like 8-9 years. I couldn't see that last shot again. I really, I just didn't want Derek miss.
Number 7, Nikola!
In 2008, Vujicic left Maccabi and played for a few teams in Europe before ending his career with Split, where he went on to establish a basketball academy. In 2013, Nikola returned to Maccabi, this time as the team manager. In his first year back, he was part of the victory in the EuroLeague Championship, after the kind of drama that only Maccabi can generate.
During the year, we played twice Real, and they also underestimated us. We felt it that they underestimating us. Day before they didn't practice, they went to shopping, because they already beat us twice. And this is something that really, you have David Blue, that meeting before game. You can feel the players, how they are, building up differently. You're standing on the side and you're showing it's like, hey, we are Maccabi. Nobody underestimated us. So you felt it that they are going out of this meeting different people. And I felt it that during the game, our crowd, they were also in shock. Because they get also, hey, maybe we can be champions. No, so we start to get the rush. And, suddenly, it's finished. It's like, again, that season could finish only that way. Unbelievable.
Israelis say it comes from above when something incredible happens and there is no explanation for it.
Hope again to do the record like Shimon has with the trophies. But no, I said one trophy less than Shimon, I retired.
Nikola Vujicic and Maccabi Tel Aviv. It's a match made in heaven. Next on Israeli Yellow Nation, the EuroLeague reaches the moment of truth. Only 5 games are left in the top 16, and Maccabi needs every victory to guarantee their spot in the quarterfinals. Maccabi sets off for a tough away game against Barcelona, one of the hottest teams on the continent. Barcelona center Ante Tomic plays well at the start of the game and gives the Catalans a 10-point lead in the first quarter. Big Sofo with baskets in the paint and Joe Alexander in his best game of the season do their best to keep the Yellows in the game. But Tomic, who finishes the game with 16 points and 12 rebounds, makes sure to keep Barcelona in the lead. In the end, Barcelona wins 89-71 and claims second place in Group E. A week later, Žalgiris Kaunas comes to Tel Aviv. The Lithuanian club's assistant coach is, of course, none other than Šarūnas Jasikevičius, one of Maccabi's greatest former players. The Lithuanians get off to a good start in the game. But Maccabi quickly recovers with nice baskets from Tyus and Jeremy Pargo, who shows early on that he is ready for the mission, bringing Maccabi to a promising 43-34 lead at halftime. Žalgiris opened strong in the second half with 3-pointers by Malaknis and Lekavicius, who cut the lead to 1. the twosome Pargo and Tyus responds with another great alley-oop. Pargo keeps up the momentum, scoring from all over the court and putting Maccabi's lead into double figures, which turns out to be too much for the Lithuanians. Pargo finishes with 26 points and ties his EuroLeague record. Maccabi beats Zalgiris 79-72. The next week, Maccabi Tel Aviv heads to Spain to play against Real Madrid in a recreation of the EuroLeague final from last season. The Spaniards are on fire at the start of the game with shots inside the paint, and a crazy three by Rudy Fernandez at the end of the first quarter gives a 13-point lead to Real. Jeremy Pargo, who is in great shape, and of course the unstoppable Devin Smith, put Maccabi back in the game, and the lead shrinks to only 2. Mexican Gustavo Ayllón of Madrid didn't let the Yellows get closer. 46-40 to the Spaniards at the half. At the start of the second half, J.C. Carroll of Madrid scores 9 straight points and puts Real's lead at 11 at the end of the third quarter. Maccabi couldn't get back in the game, and the Spaniards come away with an 86-75 victory and first place in Group E. The following week, Maccabi Tel Aviv hosts Galatasaray of Turkey. Brian Randall, Maccabi's athletic forward, gets the game off to an amazing start and gives the home crowd something to cheer about. At the other end of the court, the Turks, who already lost any chance of qualifying for the next round, shoot well from downtown and give Maccabi some trouble. At the half, the Yellows lead 43-42. The game is close in the second half with nice shots from all over the court. In the fourth quarter, Devin Smith takes over and with a 10-0 run brings Maccabi to a safe harbor. Smith finishes with 22 points and Maccabi Tel Aviv wins 81-72. The tension is at its peak in the final week of the top 16. Maccabi Tel Aviv sets off for Germany for an all-or-nothing game against Alba Berlin, in which only the winner will qualify for the quarterfinals. Maccabi opens strong with 3 quick triples by Devin Smith that gives the Yellows a 15-6 lead. The Germans respond with 3-pointers of their own, and the first quarter ends with the score 21-17 Maccabi. The second period opens with another 3 by Smith, and Big Sofo also looks great, helping Maccabi keep the momentum. But 4 straight points by Marko Banic and a 3 by Renfro tie the game at 30. Smith and Pargo make sure to keep Maccabi in the lead, and at the half, it's 41-34 to the Yellows. The third quarter doesn't start well for Maccabi, and Alba closes to 43-41. But Smith stays hot from downtown and keeps Maccabi ahead 53-51 as the period ends. 6 straight points by Sofo in the fourth quarter give Maccabi some breathing room. The Germans stay close. But a huge 3 by Devin Smith takes the wind out of their sails. Smith with a personal best in the EuroLeague, 28 points on 7 of 10 shooting from outside the arc, gives Maccabi a huge 73-64 victory over Alba Berlin and guarantees the Yellows a spot in the quarterfinals. You can't ask for anything sweeter than that. Maccabi finishes the top 16 in third place in their group, which assures them a ticket to the EuroLeague top 8. The Yellows will head out for their best-of-5 quarterfinal series against Fenerbahce Ulker of Turkey, and Maccabi's magical journey to defending their coveted title continues. Next on Israeli Yellow Nation, one-on-one with Maccabi's great forward Joe Alexander.
In the 2008 NBA Draft, the Milwaukee Bucks select Joe Alexander from West Virginia University.
I was looking at the 2008 draft. Serge Ibaka, Roy Hibbert, the Lopez brothers, Nicola Batum. All of these guys were selected a lot further in the list and behind you. How does it make you feel?
You know, I was drafted ahead of all those guys for a reason, because we all went in to workouts together and all the coaches came to watch us, and I killed them. I had some injuries that I should have sat out, but I was trying to make a career for myself, so I kept playing, and they got really bad to the point where I had to have surgery, where they were gonna basically fill my bone with metal.
Too easy. Joe Alexander.
You know, I played in the D-League for 2 years, and honestly, it was the best time of my whole basketball life. In the D-League, you take a salary that's less than most people who work at fast food. Some guys, they're not willing to give it up, not have a nice house, not have a nice car, not have anything, wear sweatpants all day, because you know, they love the game.
What the?
I've never been a part of EuroLeague before, the Final Four of the championships, but I know what big-time basketball tournaments are, and I know what it means to win big-time tournaments. So, you know, you don't have to tell me much to get me fired up about this.
אלכסנדר מנסה שוב, וקולע ג'ו אלכסנדר.
I like a crazy crowd. I think anybody would agree that the atmosphere over here is superior. Over here, the crowd kind of dictates the energy of the game sometimes. You know, they make the players pick it up. On my mother's side of my family, my grandfather is Jewish. It was never something that I thought about a lot, but when I came to Israel, obviously, it's become a big deal. I actually look forward to being able to have an Israeli passport and say, you know, I'm a part of this club, and I mean, not Maccabi, but I mean part of the Israeli club. I mean, it's something that I look forward to outside of basketball.
We're a week to the elections. Do you know what's going on? Who against who? Who is Bibi? Who is Tzipi Livni? What is the Likud? Do you know?
Nope.
Good for you.
Yeah,
Okay.
I'm an anarchist.
We came out against a team called Maccabi Tel Aviv. And we were leading in the first half by 10 points. And suddenly, I heard this enormous roaring chant of Maccabi, Maccabi, Maccabi. And I was shocked, like all of us were. And after the game, when we lost, I asked someone, what was that? And they said, that's the power of Maccabi. It's everywhere.
Maccabi Tel Aviv is the most successful and beloved sports club in Israel. In 1977, Maccabi won the European title for the first time. The final game was in Belgrade. 12 years later, Maccabi was the first Israeli sports club to go behind the Soviet Iron Curtain when they played against the intimidating CSKA in Moscow.
Yes, Elohim, Nitzachon LaMaccabim.
After winning their first European Cup, Maccabi earned many more huge achievements, becoming an Israeli icon, the nation's team.
51 national championships, 41 cups, 6 continental European championships, 1 intercontinental cup. I challenge now everyone else on the face of the earth to tell me a name of a club that is more successful than this.
Wow! 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 די גבוה.
טוב, השיחה שלנו כבר הפכה לדבר קבוע.
מה שעשיתם למדינת ישראל, תאמינו לי, הייתה זקוקה לשמחה כזו.
Maccabi's international accomplishments led the team of Israel to becoming the team of millions of Jewish fans around the world.
Maccabi Tel Aviv is the best of the best, the class of the Israeli athletic scene.
It's not only a team of Israel, it's a team of the Yellow Nation.
No matter where we go, we have fans all over the world. That's part of being Maccabi.
We see it on TV, and it's a dream coming to reality to see them live.
In the current millennium, Maccabi has taken part in 8 EuroLeague finals and has won the title 4 times. Fans of the Yellow Empire follow them everywhere unconditionally, taking over every city that hosts the Final Four.
We have the greatest fans in Europe, no question about it.
Paris, Moscow, Milan. It doesn't matter which city. It turns yellow when Maccabi plays there.
I think there's nothing like it anywhere. I mean, you don't see these things in other teams in basketball and not even in football around Europe.
Even in the US and Brazil, there is a strong yellow presence in Maccabi's games.
Maccabi has people everywhere. It doesn't matter where you go, you're gonna. It's a big family.
Support Maccabi Tel Aviv, baby! Yeah!
I think it's very important for the brand of Maccabi. We got a lot of fans all over the world.
It's a great honor to receive Maccabi. I hope we will win. I'm for Maccabi.
Amazing to see that kind of support here in New York. At one point we had most of the arena, probably 90% chanting Maccabi, so it's impressive to know how much we mean to a lot of people around the world, not just in Israel.
Maccabi Tel Aviv is a global phenomenon.
If I would use the words that the late President of Israel, Mr. Herzog, says, Maccabi Tel Aviv, it's the best ambassador of Israel to all the world.
Well, the lights are shutting down, and this is all the time we have today, and there's definitely more to look out for. But in the meantime, you can keep following Maccabi's special features on our YouTube, Twitter, and Facebook. Till next time, keep it up.